Hello, my name is Jasmine Martin Del Campo, and this is my final project. I decided to do Florida because I spent a week deciding or thinking about what I should do. And I came across a random video about Florida and thought I should just, do a population demographic on Florida. So I just wanted to give like a visual reference of like the population density and maybe or maybe not has changed over time due to like the natural disasters or like the hurricanes that are always passing through there. So yeah, so my question was in all the hurricanes that have struck the United States, the most common pattern among each and every hurricane is Florida. Most hurricanes that hit the Florida territory have caused many residents evacuating for their safety. So, can all this shiftment and movement of people have changed the demographics and the population of Florida? Is what I originally wanted to see. I then provided like some images of like certain years that the hurricane was like I guess directly at coming towards Florida. Um, so I wanted to give a visual representation of like the population in Florida and using like the 2010 census. Um, I used a difference in lightness of one color. So the darker the color, the darker. I mean, the more value or the more um, data there is in that certain region. So there's more population here than let's say like here. I didn't put any labels on it just because the purpose of these maps are just to give a visual representation of like the geographic location of all these people, not entirely like where and what specific place this is. I did put Miami Beach here, just because I do talk about how like Miami Beach is very diverse in a different map that I show, but only because like there's such tourism, so I feel like that's kind of a bias instead of just using. Well, yeah, that's what I thought. I thought would be a bias because there's so much tourism. Um, here I just talk about like all the natural disasters of like the hurricanes happening over time. Um, and then I made a dot density map. I thought it was the best map to make for like population wise and like showing the ethnicity because it does 3 in 1. So it gives a geographic image based on location, and then it also shows the like per dot is like around 40 people. So the color demonstrates each has its own group, so each color represents each group. And then I gave a closer look here to Miami Beach, Florida again because it is like a tourism place. And so it provided like the most diversity. Um, yeah, and I thought it came out beautifully. I just love the background. And of course, like the stuff I put on it. And then I made a so I had a population distribution that I got on ArcMap. And so basically it's just the population distribution between like the ethnicities or races. Um, Obviously because there's three, I couldn't really make a map that's just all three together. So I just made three individual maps, making sure that they all connect. So if you click on this one, you can toggle as with the other three. Um, it's the same concept here with like the varying in like lightness. So the darker the area, the more value there is. So the left hand side is a white population, the right hand side is a black population. So you just really see the distribution. Um, and I thought this was the best way to like compare. So I thought using ArcMap was like more of an interactive way to see the differences between like each ethnicity slash race. And you can go ahead and look at those. I do have some failed map attempts just because of like the varying data or like the insignificant data or just missing data. Um, and like for example, for like using colors, the white population was blue, but because of all this blue surrounding it, I just thought it was like overwhelming and not clear. So I did end up going back and like changing it to pink, which was way more useful. And then just all this data that I downloaded, and that's